News Dump. Cinema Day is back. $4 tickets at chains like AMC, Regal Cinemas, and others. Joining in on the celebration, Mac, Bryan Cranston is right. Movies are back.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. Is it this Sunday? I got an email from the Majestic 7 Theater in Watertown that said
I believe it is.
$4 tickets this Sunday, so I'm pretty excited. I might go see Strays this Sunday. But this would be a good Strays actually getting decent reviews. This will be a good chance for those of you that were on the fence about Blue Beetle. Maybe go catch a $4 Blue Beetle.
This is a good catch-up day. Hold the mustard.
Ooh.
If you haven't seen Barbie, Oppenheimer, TMNT, I'm not sure if Mission Impossible 7 is still in theaters. Give them money. But
they need it.
But any of the movies from this summer that you have not seen yet, $4 tickets are great. You can see 3 movies. I'm sorry, it's $4, $20. You can see 5-ish movies, 4-ish movies for the price of your normal ticket. Spend the whole day there.
Goo's not very good at math and goo. I've been to the movies so much in the last month that I am like, I'm getting sick of is not the right term, but I've had too much movie theater popcorn butter. And so I like the last time I went, I didn't even get popcorn. So
when you get popcorn at the theater, is there just a mess of popcorn on the floor when you leave?
No, I'm a very respectful. Nothing bothers me more than when people just leave their shit in the chair. Pick it up with you. There's a fucking trash can on the way out of the theater. Throw your shit out. What's the so my thing with movie theaters? I want complete silence in the fucking theater, which never happens.
Yes.
So I don't really like getting into bagged candy because you make crinkle noises. The popcorn noises I can deal with.
Those assholes who are eating burritos and shit.
If I don't get popcorn, I have trouble finding an alternative snack. So I need a 1B option here, and I don't know what to do when I don't get popcorn.
I might take my kid to Turtles on Sunday. That might be something.
With my hands.
Well, just go like this all the time. Always go like this. News dump. Ahsoka, the first 2 episodes have dropped on Disney Plus, and I am almost done. It's taken me 2 nights. It is nothing against the show, although I do find the titular character to be kind of boring. It is just, I'm so effing sleepy.
For some context here, Goo has not watched Clone Wars or Rebels.
That is correct.
He doesn't even really know who.
No, but I watched the Ryan Airy thing, and it seemed like she was a real fun character. And now I'm watching this show, and I'm like, she's not that fun.
Well, she's a little bit jaded here. She's been through a lot of shit. Goo,
it's old man Ahsoka.
First 2 episodes dropped, about an hour 45 minutes total runtime, and it essentially catches you up or catches the audience back up, frames things well to where Rebels left off in 2018. The epilogue, or is it the prologue, whatever comes after something, is where they basically did a shot for shot remake at the end of episode 2 for the end of Rebels. So it's interesting to note that all the stuff that has taken place in The Mandalorian and those first 2 episodes took place during the Rebels runtime.
Yeah.
I am very intrigued about. So I'm both intrigued and worried. So the whole Ezra and Thrawn thing is obviously fascinating. Thrawn
is Max sex tape. Intrigued and worried.
Thrawn is obviously an all-time great villain, but I am worried that we aren't going to get to Thrawn until like episode 6 or 7. And that worries me because the whole season is about finding Ezra and Thrawn. So I feel like Filoni might waste some time in the middle of the season here. However, if they don't, this is going to be an A+ show because the first 2 episodes was my exact style. It was exactly what I wanted.
May I play devil's advocate?
Sure.
I don't want to be a negative Nancy.
Oh, boy.
But I wish this was a movie and they put a little bit more into the VFX and a little bit more into the fight choreography.
Yeah, I don't agree.
That's a good argument. It's a good straw man.
Well, no,
I don't agree.
It's one of those things. So you got a couple, like 3 lightsaber fights here, and Ahsoka is so much better than everyone else at lightsaber fights that she should smash things and people quickly, the way she does in the first 2 episodes. And then you
Well, but
saw,
even her cutting the holes in the ground that looked a little wonky.
oh, that was cool because she used the
No, it's
force.
a cool
She
idea.
didn't even
but
hold
so
the
wonky.
lightsabers, goo. Fuck you. And then, of course, the Sabine lightsaber fight. She's only been briefly trained with a lightsaber, so that's not supposed to be a good one. Don't you think the 2 villains they introduced are pretty cool, though? Ray Stevenson
Yeah,
is
no,
awesome.
very cool. Very, very cool. I pointed out 2 negative things, but I do want to say on the whole, I do enjoy it.
And you had sent me that THR article the other day when the episodes dropped, saying how this is basically the opposite of Andor, and I just like fist pumped. I'm like, yes,
No, but
please, that
also
is
I think that
exactly
Star
what I
Wars
want.
should do that. If you're going to release all this content, go polar opposites on all your stuff. Don't make it all the same.
Well, to this point, Goo, the Disney Plus Star Wars shows have nary a lightsaber fight. We've just had the dark saber floating through the Mandalorian series, and it's just, yes, some people love the world building and the outside stories and the more human stories like in Andor. I don't. I'm not watching Star Wars. I'm not watching stuff about a massive galaxy to have people. Give me Jedi, give me
Mac
aliens, give me
hates
lightsabers.
people.
I can find other mediums that have those same stories without fucking floating into a galaxy far, far away. So Ahsoka is doing exactly what I want it to do. I am just cautiously optimistic because for our listeners, if they haven't known this, we've known this for a little bit here. Dave Filoni is writing and directing a Star Wars movie based around Thrawn. So we know Thrawn's going to survive this season. And he said that basically that movie is going to bring the stories of Ahsoka and the Mandalorian to a conclusion. So you're pretty much left to think that the end of this season might leave you with some blue balls or a little bit of disappointment. But and we released a little bit of a social media clip there. We can still do that well across. Was it? Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse did an incredible cliffhanger to set up Beyond the Spider-Verse. So if they did something like that, I'd be very, very happy.
Oh, by the way, I think that movies should stop teasing that they're part 1 of a part 2. Just let it happen and we'll find out at the theater.
Oh, well, that's...
And we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
News dump. Max, season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi is not off the board, according to Deborah Chow. I believe she spoke with THR maybe. And as they finished shooting the season 1, Ewan McGregor already was pitching ideas for season 2. There's another 10 years and plenty of stories to be told.
2 things. There's not plenty of stories to be told with Obi-Wan Kenobi because now he's just looking over Luke for the next 10 years.
Well, I want to see him put the mask on and say, I look like this now.
Second, the first season of Obi-Wan Kenobi sucked. That was a bad season of television. The most interesting things were the him versus Vader a couple times, and that took up 15, 20 minutes of the whole series. The rest of it was bad. It was bad. It was a bad season. And that was the one story they had to tell in the interim to where we got to Old Man Kenobi. So no, there's no more stories to tell with him. I'm
You
done.
know what they should do? They should just put their middle fingers up and say, we are going to redo the first Star Wars movie with these actors instead.
So the coolest part of this obviously was the Vader versus Kenobi fight in the last episode of the season. And that was fulfilling in some respects, but also like a little bit annoying because they basically built a whole season of television that had nothing to do with that interaction based around that one fight towards the end of it. They had 25 minutes of good content in that season, and they built a 6-episode season around little baby Leia, who was awful.
Well, also, that, and then what I've seen with the clips of Ahsoka fighting Darth Vader too, I don't like that so many people can beat Darth Vader.
Well, so that was the whole thing too, which now that you've seen some catch-ups for the Ahsoka series.
Hold the mustard.
Ahsoka and Vader have an iconic battle in Rebels. I think it's the end of season 2 or the end of season 3 of Rebels, where she hurts him. She gets a little slice off on the mask.
Yeah, she tells him that his cape is so last year.
The whole thing here, in the timeline and how everything happens and how Ahsoka sort of disappears after Order 66 and goes into hiding. She never knows that Anakin becomes Darth Vader until that moment. Now she has thoughts and feelings, and she's picking up on that sense, but she doesn't know that Vader is Anakin until that moment in Rebels. And it's a massive moment, and it's a major shift for Ahsoka as a character. And it leads her more down the darker, more depressed path than she ever was before. And it's just an incredible moment in the series. But they also echo that, obviously, in Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was just done better in the animated stuff. But, like, if you think about it, so Ahsoka might be the most powerful Force user in the universe right now.
How many midichlorians?
Because Palpatine's dead, and there's just not a lot of people training with the Force. So to me, and plus Anakin trained her, to me, it's believable that she could hold her own against Vader, maybe not necessarily defeat him. And that's what happens in that fight. Vader versus Kenobi is more interesting because, or more of an even fight. Actually, I don't know. Because I feel like Ahsoka would beat Kenobi. Well, we need a power rankings here of lightsaber battles.
Well, also, Vader hates Kenobi, and I feel like Vader would still have a soft spot for Ahsoka, me having no idea what happened in those shows.
So yeah, that's a little bit true. But that almost makes me think that the hate-fueled fight, he'd be less on his game, right? Because he's more fueled with hate, and he's not paying as much attention.
I'm gonna bury you in rocks.
Yeah, they're both great Star Wars moments again, but they built a whole season of television around a 7-minute fight. So
news dump. Mac released. This was discovered by Screen Rant. Taika Waititi was interviewed for Titan's upcoming Thor: Love and Thunder official movie special book and spoke a couple words about, what he would like in a Thor 5, what is left for him to do. He feels like for this character and the evolution of this character, there are as many fun things, and he would need for this next opponent to be bigger than Hela. So not as, Hela was a big one, maybe a little bit less with Gore. And then
Gore was a bigger threat than Hela for sure.
Hela was stronger.
Only on
yes.
On
Hela was more of like
Asgard.
a world dominating presence.
No, because Gore is a god butcher. Gore is a stronger villain than
I didn't see that in the movie, so I wouldn't know. But somehow more formidable than what we've seen so far. And what I saw online is many people saying, fire this man, don't let him near my Thor 5.
I think people just forget where Thor was after Dark World. Thor was the worst Avenger by far. There was nothing fun about him. The best part about Thor was Loki. And then Taika Waititi came in, completely transformed the character, gave us Thor Ragnarok.
Trans-Thored the character.
And then we got Love and Thunder, which you and I liked way more. I borderline loved the movie way more than everyone else. I still really, really enjoyed that movie. But sort of what he's saying here sort of applied to that as well. Post all of these Endgame events where Thor's been through a lot, there's not many Thor stories left to tell. So that's also part of the reason why I liked him going off the beaten path in Thor: Love and Thunder. Let me have fun with the character. So I don't know where they're going to go from here. I think it needs to be a more universal threat, which is sort of what he's alluding to here, like a character above Hela. I just don't know. I don't know enough about the comics to know what that character might be.
So I would say two things here. Number one, if he wants to do a Thor 5, and if they do a Thor 5, I would still take him. Even if you didn't like Love and Thunder, Ragnarok is amazing. So he's at least 1-1.
Oh,
let him go for the series win.
I think you could argue Taika Waititi is the best director of the last 10 years. So yeah,
we love him. He's an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. And I'm not sure they're going to make a Thor 5. Iger, when speaking a couple months ago, said, I don't think we need to make trilogies anymore of these legacy characters. We need to move on and do more of the group movies. So I don't think we see a Thor 5 anyways.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. What I'm saying is if they do make it, let Taika be the one to make it.
I don't think we see it. I will bet you now.
I'm agreeing.
Yes.
But if we do see one, let Taika be the guy.
I think we'll see him in the Avengers movie as he pushes forward that little girl that he is now raising. Spoilers.
Eternity.
Yes, there we go. I just called the little girl. Thor girl. Girl Thor. That's what everyone loves. Everyone
Thurl.
loves Lady. Everyone loves Lady Thor. That's the way to go.
Lore.
News dump. The Thunderbolts looking to break the Marvel mold. Director Jake Shearer spoke with someone recently and said his movie is going to be something a little different than what we've seen in Marvel. They're not dealing with this being a sequel. They're introducing some new characters.
I don't know what to think about this, because this is clearly in response to the recent audience critiques of Marvel in general, that they haven't done anything exciting. So I think this is a good way for a relatively unknown director to prop up his upcoming movie. However, I would argue that most of these Marvel movies are still really good. We're just so used to them being all-time great that our perception's a little off. So maybe don't go too far off the Marvel mold, you know. Do some fun, exciting new stuff. You have some fun, exciting new characters, kind of. But don't get too kooky.
I mean, I would say that if this is true, cool, let us see it. But also, I'm going to assume that it's going to be pretty similar. Well, I feel like look, as long as Feige's there, it's all going to be relatively similar.
Sure, yeah. But again, our last topic, we're coming off how people hated Love and Thunder because it broke the Marvel mold. And now we want this guy to break the Marvel mold? Doesn't make any sense.
Look, it's going to be better when Zack Snyder takes over. I've decided, by the way, that I'm the Zack Snyder fan on the show.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I saw him do an interview where he likes to play Fortnite.
You hated that zombie movie that he made a couple years ago.
Which one?
I don't know. Dave Bautista in Las Vegas in it.
I didn't mind it. It wasn't the worst.
No, you didn't. You hated it.
You hated it. You keep
of course
on.
I did.
You're holding up a mirror and you're pointing at it.
He could paint the Mona Lisa right now and I would hate it.
News dump. Speaking of Snyder, Batfleck turns 10. He was casted 10 years ago as of this week. And I loved his trilogy of movies, the Batman movies. They were all great.
I liked the casting then. 10 years later, I loved what we got out of Ben Affleck as Batman. Now, the properties he was in, not so great. And speaking of Snyder, I like Man of Steel more than most. I liked BVS more than most. Snyder just couldn't quite figure out the overarching story stuff. He had a really hard time telling a bigger story. And obviously we've seen that and how Justice League and the Snyder Cut came together. I just hate Zack Snyder at this point because of it's almost like a Taylor Swift thing, right? It's not necessarily the person. It's the people that support that person that fucking suck. Absolute worst people on the internet. That said, and we'll be talking about this in a second. He's got to add some new flavor to his direction and his directing style, because the trailer we got for his upcoming movie was awful. I watched 10 seconds of it and it was awful.
Before we get to that, I was reading some of the comments on the Taika Waititi news, and some were like, Zack Snyder's got to direct Thor 5. Although, if we're really thinking about it, that is right up his alley.
No.
God characters.
No, he can't do humor. He can't do humor.
I'm not saying I want to see it. I am just saying, like, if there was a Marvel character, it would be someone like Thor.
Zack Snyder hasn't made anyone laugh since the remake of not Dawn of the Dead. Is it Dawn of the Dead?
It was Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
But that was also co-written by Gunn, wasn't it?
Yeah. He hasn't made anyone laugh since 2003.
But also, like I said, he's Mr. Meeksies in Fortnite. I've seen a couple interviews with him. He's good. I like him.
Meeksies.
He seems very personable.
Meeksies.
What did I say?
Meeksies.
I said the same thing that you're saying right now. I was joking, by the way. Affleck never made a trilogy of movies. His movies never got off the ground.
He was in 3 movies, I think, right? Maybe
he was
4.
in more than that.
4?
I was saying trilogy of Batman movies, like specific. He was the titular character. They never happened. And then also, did you see the news this week? Someone was like, I heard that John Krasinski is being cast as Batman. And James Gunn's like, that's not true. No one's been cast, guys. Shut up.
Yeah, they're not doing any casting right now because of the strike. I don't think I would like Krasinski as Batman as much as I like John Krasinski.
I don't need John Krasinski. He seems to be like the fan favorite for every character. I don't need that for every character. But I will say this. They should cast someone from Boston to play Batman. I don't know. Batman could be 5'10" and a half, right?
You would just be... Come back to the height thing. Yeah, you'd be taller than fucking Keaton as Batman. You wouldn't be able to. You would be playing Batman as Deadpool. You'd just be breaking the fourth wall constantly.
Yeah, probably. News dump. Speaking of Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon. We got a trailer for this. It is an upcoming Netflix movie. The first, so part one, there's 2 parts. A Child of Fire coming out on December 22nd, 2023. The sequel is April 19th, 2024. This is Star Wars with sex, violence, and I wrote sweating by accident. I meant to write swearing.
Oh, I thought you meant like a sexy violence where they're all sweating, you know?
Maybe that was auto-corrected. I didn't write sweating, did I?
Yeah, apparently Zack Snyder has wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and they were like, no, you haven't done anything well in a long time. We're not going to let you touch Star Wars, which also hasn't been doing all that well. So apparently he decided to make this Rebel Moon stuff, and apparently decided to make it a 2-parter, even though we haven't seen it and we're not sure we want it at all.
Also, this is Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I only watched 10 seconds of the trailer, and it was 3 or 4 straight slow motion shots. That's it. Why does he keep doing this stuff?
It's a style. But also, like, I could see Star Wars seeing this and being like, this is us. Disney being like, we're going to sue you.
Yeah, again, Zack Snyder is really good at parroting other things. This is going to be something that we've seen before. It's just got a different name on it. And
there's
also,
lightsabers.
And also, the stuff we've seen from Star Wars the last 10 years, a lot of people haven't liked. So I don't know why he's going that route.
Well, everyone on Twitter, like everyone is saying this, is that he's made the best Star Wars movie already. That this is already the best Star Wars movie.
Those people didn't see Rogue One, or
no, just from the 3-minute trailer, this is the best Star Wars movie.
I don't know. I only made it 10 seconds in because once I got to the 4th slow motion clip, I said, yeah, I'm all set.
I watched the whole thing and I'm like, this is Star Wars. News dump. Been a live action Fallout series hitting Prime in 2024.
Yes, very popular, uber popular Fallout video game series, which has been around for, I don't know, 15, 20 years now. They're adapting to a live action television show. And I think a big part of this is because of the success of The Last of Us on HBO, obviously. This is a bit of a similar setting in that it's a sort of dystopian future. I don't think there's really zombies in this world, and there's not as good of an emotional connection to the main characters in this world. But like we just saw, like the Twisted Metal series on Paramount was pretty decent. So I think these shows like Baseline are going to be pretty decent. Prime sometimes gets a little wonky with their CGI, and I don't think Prime really commits the dollars needed to some of this stuff, but we'll see. This could end up being pretty good.
News dump. Coming to Paramount Plus at some time. Good Burger. We got a teaser. We see Keenan. We see Kel.
I mean, I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to like it.
I don't know if I am going to watch it. And I love Keenan and Kel. I love the show. I loved all that.
I love old stuff.
I don't mind the Good Burger movie. Abe Vigoda is amazing in the movie.
I mean, you're going to watch this.
I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
All of what I just said, throw it out the window.
We'll have a solo episode on that at some point.
We'll have 2 or 3 solo episodes on this. We'll have a 21 questions leading into it. We'll have a full episode after, and then we'll answer those 21
change the
questions.
Good Burger universe.
Yes. Is Sinbad in this movie?
The Burgerverse.
News down. Got a trailer for Expendables 4. Expendables, god damn it. Expendables is the movie that I created in my head with every overweight actor, and all they do is eat in the movie.
The Whale 2, Expendables.
Right.
I have not seen 1 second of the first 3 Expendables movies, so I don't know how we're here today with them releasing a trailer to the 4th movie.
This trailer is a lot like the one that they put out a couple weeks or a month ago. I don't know when it came out, but it just has more violence and sexy stuff.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on the Expendables universe.
News down. Got a trailer for Leo, the upcoming animated Netflix movie starring Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I put this on here strictly for you because you're a Sandler boy. So
I haven't seen the trailer. I just
I-
assume it's good.
I you and Rafi will have watched this about 100 times after this comes out. I'm assuming.
I have seen the conclusion to Hotel Transylvania. Is it 3 when they fight the Kraken? Either way, there is a scene. I think it's in 3, but it might be 4. And the way that
There's
they
a fourth
defeat
one?
the Kraken, I think there is a 4th, and Adam Sandler's not in it, actually. There's someone doing an Adam Sandler impression. I wish it was me. I think it's the end of 3. They're fighting a Kraken, and the way that they defeat it, because Van Helsing is controlling the Kraken with his evil DJ beats, his dubstep. The way that they defeat him is with Andy Samberg's character, his playlist that has good vibes.
All right. How about
and the
that?
song, can you guess the song that they end up beating Van Helsing with?
No, I've got no idea.
Hashtag Macarena moment, baby.
They use the Macarena.
Yep. And then there's like a 2-minute clip of all the characters doing the Macarena.
Jesus Christ. I saw the first Transylvania movie. It was solid.
I have seen that clip 100 times.
So you've watched animated, somewhat bad guy characters do the Macarena 100 times.
I think they're all good characters. They're just monsters. Don't assume.
They're known as bad guys, though.
Speaking of bad guys, news dump. Frasier, the sequel series is coming back. I say that jokingly. I love Frasier. You're a piece of shit and you don't like him.
Kelsey Grammer fucking stinks. I don't know what the appeal to him or this character is whatsoever. I don't know how Frasier ever got past the pilot. This makes me question everything about everyone.
Confused, but baby,
how Frasier had any success whatsoever.
Now I don't know what to do.
Frasier makes my ears bleed, my eyes bleed. That series stinks.
They're calling again.
Stinks. How are we here?
Scrambled eggs all over my face.
I don't know how we got a sequel series. This is fucking insane.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
9 seasons.
Sure.
The most Emmys ever, I assume. It looks like it's going to be
he
Frasier
won too many Emmys. That's for
bouncing back and forth with the millennials, with the young kids, dealing with his stupid son, and he's more advanced.
Yeah.
Niles isn't in the show, but we don't need Niles because guess what? He's in Boston, baby.
Niles is or Frasier is?
Frasier is. Frasier moves back to Boston. I saw this little conspiracy idea from Wesley Burho that maybe he buys the Cheers bar.
Well, that really wouldn't make the series of Frasier make sense anymore.
Would you call it Frasier : Cheers or Cheers : Frasier?
Cheers 2.
Electric Frasier-Loo?
I was trying to think of something Frasier related for the subtitle there.
No, it is coming to Paramount Plus. I'm surprised that one of the networks didn't get this.
Yeah, because it stinks, Goo. It's
no,
bad.
No, you stink. News dump. Riverdale has mercifully come to an end after 100 seasons and 1,008 episodes.
I'll tell you, whoever killed Riverdale should do the same to Frasier and half the things we've talked about today.
I watched the first 4 seasons of this show, complete batshit crazy show. The last time that I saw it, it was the 4 main characters in the woods naked, and it was jumped forward a year. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to dip back into this. And then I saw clips from the next season where Sherry, what's the redhead's name? I don't know what her name is, but the redhead in it was suddenly a witch.
You and Richard Keefe used to talk about this show so much that it got me to actually start watching this show. And I think I made it 3 episodes in when I said, no, not for me.
It was a sexy teen drama. Archie banged Miss Grundle. Then there was a murder. There was a full season looking at the murder. Then they got into this cultish Dungeons and Dragons game because Stranger Things is popular.
Right.
Then, what's her name there? Veronica, she had a speakeasy. And the father's a bad guy.
Are you caught up on Riverdale? Have you seen all these episodes?
No, I think I'm 2 seasons back. I'm not going to catch it. I might watch the finale, though. It looks like they go back in time to the 50s. I don't know, though. That's me assuming based off that screenshot.
I see them meta in the finale.
They have all the haircuts from the comics.
How about that?
I also imagine that as soon as the episode was over, you know, at the end of Aladdin, when the genie's like chains and wristbands pop off and he's free,
Yeah.
the same thing happened to all the actors. They were
The
able
end
to
of
just
the end
just
of this
leave.
series is going to be a cutout, a pan to some guy drawing a comic in the 1950s. That's what it's going to be.
Cole Sprouse can do whatever he wants now, or Dylan Sprouse, whichever Sprouse it is. The world is his oyster.
I think it's Cole. I don't
It's
know what
Cole.
Dylan's up to, but I think it's Cole.
I think Dylan's at school, 3rd or 4th grade, right? How old are these boys? They live a sweet life.
I hate you.
News dump.